There's a key principle of exercise science called progressive overload. After consistency, this is the most important thing you can do to get results from your exercise program. In this video, I'm going to explain what progressive overload is, why it's so important, and give you a system so you can incorporate it into your workouts. This principle applies to any kind of exercise, but since I specialize in strength training for mental health and for chronic dizziness, I'm going to talk specifically about strength training. So let's start at the beginning. That's how important this is. Exercise at its core is a stress on your body. It's a stress on your brain, it's a stress on your nervous system. Now, a lot of people just think about muscles when it comes to strength training, but there's so much more going on. If you're going to lift a heavy weight, of course, your muscles are going to be working hard. And they need more blood flow to be able to do that hard work because blood brings nutrients with it and takes away waste products. Other parts of your body start working hard too. So your lungs to get more oxygen in and get rid of waste products, your heart to pump harder to move that blood around, and your blood vessels to get that blood where it needs to go. Your nervous system starts working hard to communicate information back and forth through your nerves, and then your brain has to work super hard to coordinate and direct all of this. So it's a really big challenge, and it causes a lot of changes in your brain and your body during the workout. And then afterwards, there's even more work to do because now everything needs to go back to normal. And that takes work too, to get rid of more waste products and repair the little microscopic damage that happened during the workout. It looks like you're just resting, but there's actually a lot of work going on under the surface to recover. Now, your body really doesn't like any of this. It doesn't like stress, and it doesn't like the work it takes to recover from stress. So as hard as that workout felt for you, your brain and your muscles and your organs are like, yeah, same, that was really tough. But exercise is not like other types of stress. It does something special. So just like there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, there's also good stress and bad stress. So exercise is a type of good stress. What makes exercise a good stress compared to other types of stress is that exercise also releases other things in your body and brain, like hormones and neurotrophic factors, things that help you recover. Now, your brain and body are kind of lazy, but in a smart way. So if that exercise stress starts to happen consistently, they think, all right, I don't know what's going on here, but our person keeps going into this weird place with loud music and lifting a bunch of heavy circles on sticks, and it's really hard for us. And it seems like this is going to keep happening. So we need to make some changes so that the next time they do that, it'll be easier for us and there will be less cleanup to do, less recovery to do. And that's exactly what happens. Your brain and your body adapt, and over time, you get fitter and stronger and healthier. So those adaptations are actually what people usually think about as your results. So these are benefits that are with you all the time, right? You feel stronger, less tired, less anxious or depressed. You have fewer chronic dizziness symptoms, which is actually coming from those adaptations that your body and brain have made in response to the stress of exercise. So your brain chemistry has changed, so your brain can send better signals to your muscles. And a side effect of that is that those brain chemicals help you feel calm and joyful and optimistic. Your heart and lungs and blood vessels got stronger and learned how to work better, so you could get more blood to your brain and your organs. And then your brain and your organs got better at taking the nutrients in that blood and turning them into fuel, so you feel more energetic and your thinking is sharper and your physical health is better. Your sensory systems also got better at communicating information back and forth, which helps you calm down your stress response system and decreases the chance of anxiety or panic attacks or chronic dizziness symptoms or chronic pain, right? So overall, you are healthier both while you're in the gym and also when you're out living your life. Now, we're almost to the point here, I promise. Thank you for sticking with me. All of these adaptations are great, but they take energy and resources to create and maintain, right? It's not that easy to build a stronger heart and more efficient nerves. And remember, your body and brain are kind of lazy. They don't really want to do this extra work unless they have to. So essentially, you have to force these good changes. So if I can speak for your brain again, the first time you do a strength workout, it says, all right, this is really tough. I think I need to make some improvements here. But then your body says, whoa, hang on a second, like, let's not be hasty. This hasn't happened before, and so let's just wait and see if it happens again. But then you're consistent, you keep lifting, and over the course of a few weeks, your brain and body get convinced that these changes need to be made, and they do it. And now you can handle the stress of your regular workouts. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over, lifting the same weights, there's no need to make any more beneficial adjustments, right? That's when you hit a plateau and you stop seeing improvements. So if you want to get significantly stronger and fitter and healthier, you need to keep stressing your body a little more than it's used to over time. So here, finally, is where progressive overload comes in. Progressive overload just means aiming to increase the difficulty of some aspect of your training or your workouts over time. So in other words, it means pushing a little harder each time you exercise. Progressive overload can be pretty simple, right? You do a workout, you write down what you did, which is very, very important. Don't skip that step. And you try to do more next time. So specifically, there are a lot of ways that you can incorporate progressive overload into your strength training, right? So you could lift more weight for the same number of repetitions. You could lift the same weight for more repetitions. You could increase your range of motion, so your muscles have to work harder to complete a movement. So that would be like the difference between doing a shallow squat where you only lower yourself a couple of inches and doing a full squat where you go all the way down until your thighs are parallel with the floor. So going from a shallow squat to a full squat would be a progression. It's harder. Or you could increase the difficulty by moving to a more challenging variation of an exercise. So this would be like going from an incline push-up to a floor push-up, or from a normal squat to a single leg squat. But often people have a hard time knowing which they should do and when and how much they should progress. So that's why I'm here. I want to give you a simple method that I use, and you can use this as a guide for progressing your workouts. So I call it the repetition range method. To use this method, the first thing you need to know is how many repetitions you're doing in your workouts. So a repetition, in case you're not familiar with that term, is how many times in a row you should be doing the exercise. So 8 repetitions, they're also called reps. So 8 reps of a push-up would be 8 push-ups in a row. That number, the number of reps that you do, really depends on your goals and your experience. So if you're following a program, it should tell you how many reps to do. I have another video that explains it in more detail. If you are not following a program and you're not sure how many reps to do, you can check out that video. But for this progressive overload method, you need to have a range of repetitions, not just a single number. So if someone wants to get stronger to improve their mental health and they're not a beginner, they've been working out for a little while, I might give them a 6 to 8 rep range. If they are a beginner, I might start them at an 8 to 12 rep range, or maybe even a 12 to 15 rep range. So in other words, they would be doing somewhere between 6 and 8 reps in each set, or 8 to 12 reps, or 12 to 15 reps. Now, some programs do just give you a single repetition number. So if you're following a program like that, you can turn that number into a range by adding 1 or 2 reps above or below the repetition number. So for example, if the program says to do 10 squats, that becomes a repetition range of 8 to 12. Now, once you have your repetition range, let's use 6 to 8 reps as an example, you would start by figuring out the weight that makes it really challenging to complete the number at the bottom of that range. So 6 in this example. Now, I have another video that explains how to choose the right weight for each exercise, so you can refer to that if you're not sure. But coming back to progressive overload, every time you do that exercise again, you're going to use the same weight, and you're going to try to do just one more rep in at least one set. And soon you'll be able to do the top number in the range for all of your sets with that same weight. So the top number in this range would be 8 in this example. And when you can do that, now you know you're ready to increase the weight in the next session. And then you'll figure out the new heavier weight that takes you back to the bottom end of the range again, and you can start working your way back up. So here's an example of this system for a deadlift exercise. So in this example, we're using a 6 to 8 repetition range. So you can see that we started at 45 pounds, which is the weight of a standard barbell here in America. Everywhere else, a standard barbell is 20 kilograms. And over a few workouts, we went from 6 reps with that weight to 7, and then to 8. And then we added 5 pounds to each end of the barbell. So we were up to 55 pounds. We dropped back down to 6 reps, and then we worked our way up again. And then you just repeat. Honestly, you can keep using this system and making progress this way for a really long time. This is the way that I still do most of my workouts personally after more than a couple of decades of strength training. So that is the repetition range system of progressive overload. But before I wrap this video up, there are a few things I want you to keep in mind. So first, it's very important to keep track of what you do in each workout so you know which weights to use and how many reps to aim for next time, right? Trust me, you're not going to be able to remember all of it off the top of your head. Write it down and refer back to it in each workout. Second, make sure you use good form in every single exercise. So using good form ensures that when you increase your reps and your weights, it's because you actually really got stronger, not because you kind of cheated by using bad form, which is, at best ineffective, and at worst, it puts you at risk of hurting yourself. So please don't do that. Make sure your form on each exercise is really, really solid before you start using this method. And third, you can hopefully kind of see that in order for this system to work, you need to practice the same exercises pretty frequently, right? There's some people that will insist that you should change your workouts up all the time, that you need to confuse your muscles with a lot of different exercises to avoid a plateau. That's just not true, right? If you don't do the same exercises regularly, you won't get a chance to apply your progressions to them, right? So that doesn't mean doing the exact same exercises in every workout, but you should be repeating and coming back to the same exercises probably about once a week, maybe twice a week in some cases. And finally, I want to remind you to be patient and persistent, okay? Progression doesn't always happen in a straight line. If you're a beginner, you'll probably be able to progress pretty quickly, right? Probably in most sessions. And, enjoy that time, because after a few months, those gains will slow down. And then sometimes you'll stall temporarily. Sometimes you may even go backwards, and sometimes you'll suddenly make a big gain, right? All of that is totally normal. So be patient, keep aiming to progress, and after a while, you'll be pretty amazed at how far you've come.